Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, is the US slipping into a stagflation-like scenario? So what this means is slowing job growth, rising prices, which is basically an economic double whammy. We'll break it down with real numbers, expert warnings, and what it could mean for all of us. But before we start, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel and helps support my work here. All right, let's get into this. So first, what exactly is stagflation light? It's when inflation creeps up while job growth stalls. Not full-blown stagflation, but it still strains the economy. Business Insider describes a rising likelihood of stagflation light driven by tariffs pushing prices and weak job numbers dragging economic growth. On the job front, July only saw 73,000 jobs added, well below forecast, and previous months were sharply revised downward. Keep in mind, this is something that I mentioned in previous videos about the unemployment numbers being skewed.
Well, breaking news. The U.S. government has announced that the unemployment applications raised 8,000 last week, which brought the number to 247,000 people who applied for unemployment, which is the most that has ever been since October of last year. You guys know I'm taking this one personally because I ain't applied for that shit. So that motherfucker's about to be 247,001.
As a result of the numbers being revised downward, this wiped out 250,000 jobs. That's the weakest pace of job growth in nearly 5 years. New graduates are being highly affected as well, with unemployment for recent grads nearing 6%, which is much higher than the national average of 4.2%.
Graduating college, I would say I've applied to around 200 jobs.
I would say I've applied to about 150, maybe more now.
Some of the interview processes consist of constructing models and valuations. Some of them are pitch decks.
I made it to the final round for one big tech company. Didn't end up getting it. I passed round 2 for another one, and the other ones either haven't heard back or just ghosted. Yeah.
It's a story that's becoming more common, and it's being reflected in an unusual new trend in the economic data. As far back as the numbers go, the unemployment rate for recent college graduates has been below the rate for all U.S. workers. But over the past few years, unemployment among recent grads climbed above the rate for the broader population.
This is essentially the first time on an ongoing basis that this has occurred in the 45 plus years that we have data going back to.
Matthew Martin is a senior economist at Oxford Economics.
So really this is pointing towards a lot of people who have that higher educational attainment are actually worse off than many of their peers who have lower educational attainment. That's an interesting dynamic to have in a market where you're told you go to college, you work hard, you'll have a job after graduation. And unfortunately for many at the moment, that's just not happening.
Even entry-level jobs in fields like finance, tech, and consulting are dwindling. Federal employment is also contracting, which means that they are laying off full-time workers and replacing them with contract workers. However, it does look like private hiring in sectors like healthcare are looking still pretty steady. On the finance side, it says that big Wall Street bonuses are expected to jump up by 30%. Where the market is performing strong, but all in the same sense, the hiring has slowed even though the market is supposedly strong. So hiring is slowed, and white-collar job switchers are seeing less wage growth than those who are staying put, something dubbed the big stay effect. So essentially, the US isn't in full stagflation yet, but we're seeing signs of it. We're creeping up towards it, and the signs are very clear with the price spikes, the way that the job market is performing, and unemployment rates that are rising. Really, what that means for us is that we need to be upskilling. You know that in all of my previous videos, that's something that I'm a proponent of. Even when we don't necessarily know the future of the job market or the economy, one thing that you can never go wrong in is, pouring into yourself and upskilling, personal development, reading books, learning new skills, strengthening the skills that you already have, really working on growing your current skill set and adding on to what you already know. In addition to, unfortunately focusing on AI. I'm sorry guys, I know, but I'm in school for software engineering, so I have to tell you guys that you have to learn how to use it. You have to learn how to use it, even if it's not like a full, AI program, even if it's just like an AI chatbot, being able to use ChatGPT really well and being able to prompt, to be able to get like really good results back from an AI, bot or an AI language model. That would basically be like, kind of putting yourself in the best position for roles currently, but also in the future with the change, that's happening in the technological space and also within our society as a whole. Another thing too, which is something that I mentioned in a previous video, was being flexible. So this is something that I personally really want to focus on, which is really just upskilling and being in a skill level to where I can contract, where I have more flexibility, because that kind of just opens the door to where, you're more protected, especially in this volatile job market where you can be laid off at any point in time. And again, you can be a high performer and still be getting laid off, unfortunately. So that doesn't save you. We're seeing in the stock market, things are doing well, but they're still laying off. So in order to protect yourself, be flexible. Contract, hybrid roles, they're rising. Even myself, I told y'all, I would never go back into the office. I still don't want to go back into the office, but I may not have a choice. So I am and have been seeking hybrid roles myself. So yeah, also being flexible, hybrid roles, even in the contracting space. I don't mind even contracting hybrid, for a 6-month contract or a 3-month contract, you know what I mean? But being flexible in regards to the type of work that you may consider, and also just being smart with your finances as a result. The last thing too, you guys, is networking. You want to make sure that you're networking. I told you guys how I'm on LinkedIn every day, and it's really been an invaluable resource because I've not only learned a lot on that platform, and not only that, but also being able to have the opportunity to possibly engage with a person like that, where now you're able to build relationships. So also networking is really important. Try and attend, networking events. And also, if you can't, get on LinkedIn and network with people who are within your industry. Network with the people who are in the industry that you want to be in. Network with the people who are at the companies that you want to work at. So to wrap this all up, the outlook is, it's pretty tricky, and it's like we really don't know what the future holds. We're doing it one day at a time, but it's not hopeless. Play smart, focus on personal growth, sharpening your skills and adapting, and you will be able to create your own path, within whatever the new world that is evolving may look like. If you found this useful, hit the like and subscribe. More reports and breakdowns will be coming in the next video.